Hey, deep divers. Ready to tackle a topic that can really make an email marketer sweat?
Oh, yeah. Getting blacklisted, it's definitely something you want to avoid.
We're going to break it down today
Yeah,
so you can break free from that digital prison.
exactly. Like, imagine you spend all this time crafting this perfect email campaign,
You're so proud of it.
and then it gets rejected.
It's totally rejected by the mail servers.
Just because your IP address is on a blacklist, it's not a good feeling.
So before we get into how to get off a blacklist,
Right.
let's talk about why these lists even exist.
Yeah. They exist for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not just to make life difficult for email marketers.
Because some days it feels like it.
It definitely can. But think about it this way. Blacklists are maintained by ISPs and these cybersecurity companies,
Right.
and they're trying to protect their users from all the bad stuff out there.
Yeah, like all the spam and the phishing attacks.
Exactly. All the malicious emails. Think of these blacklists as like the internet's bouncers.
Okay,
They're keeping the bad actors out of the club.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you don't actually have to be a spammer to end up on one of these lists, right?
Unfortunately, no, you don't. You can end up on a blacklist for things like a high bounce rate
Oh, really?
or even sharing hosting with someone who's already blacklisted.
Wow, so it can happen pretty easily.
It can happen more easily than you think. And here's the thing. Once you are blacklisted,
Uh-oh.
it becomes even easier to get blacklisted again.
It's like a vicious cycle.
It is.
Right.
So let's talk about how to even find out if you're on a blacklist, because you might not even know.
Yeah, you might not know until your emails start bouncing back.
Exactly. And nobody wants that. Luckily, there are tools available that can help you check this.
Oh, good.
MX Toolbox, for example. It's a very popular one, and it's really simple to use. You just enter your IP address or your domain name,
Okay.
and it checks it against a ton of different blacklists.
So you've checked,
Yeah.
and you're on a blacklist. What do you do?
Okay. First thing, don't panic.
All right, good advice.
It's not a hopeless situation, but you have to understand why you were listed. Each blacklist has its own specific criteria.
Okay.
So you need to dig in and look at their policies. Look at the FAQs. This is going to give you some clues.
I like that. Maybe your email list needs some cleaning up.
Yeah, could be.
Maybe you have some security issues on your website.
Definitely possible.
Maybe your email content is triggering all these spam filters.
It happens.
So once you figure out what the issue is, what do you do?
Well, once you identify it, you can start addressing it.
Okay, so you've done your due diligence.
Yeah.
You fixed the problem.
Well,
What's next?
Then you need to find the delisting process or the removal process on the Blacklist's website.
Okay.
Most of them will have a form you can fill out explaining all the steps you've taken to resolve the issue.
So it's like an appeal.
Yeah, you could think of it that way. Be clear, be concise. Show them that you've addressed the root cause of that blacklisting. Once you've submitted that request, it's a waiting game.
And I bet that waiting game is brutal.
It can be,
Yeah.
especially when you know your email deliverability is on the line.
Yeah. Your business might depend on this.
Exactly. Removal times vary. It depends on the blacklist, and it depends on how complex your case is.
So it could take a few hours or it could take days.
While you're waiting, there are things you can do. You're not just twiddling your thumbs.
Okay, what do you do?
Monitoring. This is where monitoring comes in. You can use those same online tools that we mentioned earlier
Yep.
to regularly check your status and see if your IP address has been removed. And here's a pro tip.
All of pro tips.
Even after you've been removed, continue to monitor your IP address and monitor your domain name.
Okay.
Think of it like checking your credit score.
Okay.
You know, regular monitoring helps you catch any potential issues early on.
Okay. So we've talked about identifying the problem, figuring out why you were listed, taking action to fix it, submitting that removal request, and then just patiently monitoring the situation.
It's a process.
Is there anything else we need to know about this process?
Well, there are some nuances to keep in mind. Not all blacklists are created equal.
Oh, that's interesting. So are some worse than others?
Yeah, some are definitely more strict than others,
Yeah.
and some just have a better reputation in the industry.
Okay. So which ones should you prioritize when it comes to removal?
Good question. You really want to focus on the ones that are most relevant to your audience.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're mostly sending emails to Gmail users,
Right.
you want to make sure that you're not on any of Google's blacklists.
Makes sense. So prioritize the lists that are actually impacting your deliverability.
Exactly.
Are there any tips for like speeding up the removal process? Because I imagine everyone wants to get off these lists.
There's no magic bullet, unfortunately. But being proactive and being really thorough in your communication can definitely help.
Okay.
So when you submit that removal request, Make sure you're giving them really clear and concise information
Okay.
about the steps that you've taken to fix the issue.
Got it.
And if you have any documentation,
Oh, like proof.
yeah, like logs from your email server, screenshots of your email content, include those as well.
So you're basically painting a really clear picture for the blacklist provider.
Right.
You're saying, hey, look, I'm serious about being a good email sender.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to follow up if you haven't heard back in a reasonable amount of time.
Okay.
Sometimes a little nudge can help move things along.
All right. So let's recap the key steps for getting removed from a blacklist. You've got to identify which lists you're on. Figure out why you were listed in the first place.
Right.
Fix that underlying issue.
Yep.
Submit the removal request.
Yep.
And then patiently monitor the situation while providing clear and thorough communication. That's a lot.
It is. It is a process, but it's worth it.
It is worth it because getting blacklisted is not the end of the world.
Right. It's not.
Yeah.
It's definitely a setback, but it's a solvable problem.
So insightful. We've covered so much today.
We have.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into IP blacklisting.
Of course.
We hope you found it informative and empowering.
Until next time, happy emailing, everyone.